array here with A, B, C, D, and we want to reduce that, and that's going to mean change it into another form. So if we reduce our array, the first argument is always a callback, so a function that tells us how we're going to reduce it, but I always skip that step first and go to the second argument, which is what we're turning this array into, what we're reducing it into. This can be many different things. It could be another array. It could be an integer like 0 or a string, but I most commonly use an object. So this is turning an array into an object. The arguments for this callback are next. They're always the same, and I always call them the same things. I always use the letters R and V, and I remember that because this is the result, and this is the value. And so you can name them whatever you want, but I always use R and V because it helps to simplify things, I think. Next, I skip the logic of the actual function, and I always make sure I return R at the end. So what this is going to do is every time through the reduce loop, we're going to change R, changing it based on the value, so each individual element as we loop through this array, and return the new R. And so I always say return R first. Okay, now let's do the actual logic. And for this toy example, let's say our object is going to have the keys A, B, C, D, and the value is going to be their index in this array. So what we want to do is take R, which starts as our empty object, and we're going to set the value of the key V, so that's going to be our individual letter, A, B, C, D. And to get the index, there is a third optional argument to reduce, so that's I. And so we're going to set that to I. And so we're actually changing this R value, this result, and returning it every time. And the end result is going to be an object that gets returned from this reduce. So if we console log this now we have our initial array, A, B, C, D, and we have the new object with the keys A, B, C, and D. And the values of those keys are the indices of the original array, so 0, 1, 2, 3.